Let's start. 105.5 Prime FM. 105.5 Prime FM. Prime 105.5 FM. Amazing. Endless possibility. Let's start. Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. Let's start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat right on Prime FM 105.5. Today is Tuesday, and of course, my panelists have begun arriving to do justice to the discussion tonight. We have a couple of threading issues I'm going to talk about. We are wanted to share the live video. Kindly share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones can also be part of the program. They can follow as well. We are streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5 and also streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. Just tap Nighttime Heat. You're going to follow the show tonight. We are on Prime FM 105.5. Let me just acquaint you with what is coming up tonight. The issues that will be patient tonight. The health authorities in Monrovia, they've said that 16 foreign nationals are under surveillance for Ebola virus. It's threatening, We're going to talk about that tonight, what are the latest revelation does not align with just what the health worker who was recently arrested. What that is not in line with what he said. We're going to talk about that tonight on the program. Recently the NIMBO of Deputy Speaker held a launch, and I'm making reference to Thomas Farah, He held the launch of his NIBO. NIBO, understand, is an auxiliary, a political institution. And at the launch, we saw, some government officials, and one official whose appearance there has sparked some concern is the CSA boss, Josiah Joker, wearing the T-shirt of NIMBO. In some quarters, people are arguing that he's violated some of the CSA rule. That was a double standard by the Unity Party folks, especially when individuals who were seen with party regalia were booted out of the CDC. One person is Emma Glasgow. So we're going to talk about that. Did he do any wrong? Can he be accused of any wrongful act? We'll talk about that tonight on the program. In fact, the NIMBO that has been launched, what difference can NIMBO actually do on the country's political scene? This NIBO that we're hearing about. And we're going to talk about some of the jabs, thrown at former President George Weah by his one-time, strong ally, Thomas Farah. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. And also on the program, the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, Augustin Pay Gafwan has chaired a high-level AFDB constituency meeting. How does that elevate our image, globally or regionally? How does that? We're going to talk about that and some of the things he said, while sharing the media on behalf of Liberia. That was a very strong representation of our country by Augustin Pehi Gafua. So we're going to talk about that as well tonight in the program. What happened, as soon as so long we have some additional time, we're going to talk about this story. There's been this news from Olofo County about the death of a little girl by the vehicle of Francis Sakila Imali, the Minister of Local Government. And of course, we're going to talk with our correspondent. We have our correspondent in Lofa County, Foya, because that has been, sparking some public concerns, and people have been speaking about the death of the little girl. In fact, in some quarters, they said, well, not much Francis Yimali has done since the little girl was killed by his vehicle. We're going to talk about that tonight also on the program. Let me welcome my panelist, David Benedictus Erasmus Nambutawe. He's always here on time. David, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabot, and good evening to everyone. I'm glad to be here. Always glad to be on the show.
Good. Let me welcome Desmond William. Mr. William, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Sabot. It's great to have me. It's great to be here. And let me say good evening to our many Liberians who normally take it for themselves to follow the show. It is because of them we are here. So I'd like to say it's great to be here, and we look forward to having a very inspiring, engaging conversation this evening.
Okay, let me welcome George Kennedy. George, welcome to the
Good
program.
evening, Sabah. Good evening to my co-panelists and the many listeners across the world. I want to say thank you. You are welcome to the show. And to say thank you also to our technicians behind the scene. Thank you.
Okay, is Moses on? Let's try to welcome Moses quickly. Moses, we are on. Welcome to the program. It seems Moses not yet on. I know he will join us. Likewise, Edwin Famole. Famole will join us very shortly, I'm sure, as well. The Secretary General of the Council of Churches, Reverend Toll, I'm sure he will join us. Reverend Christopher Toll will join us later on the program. But gentlemen, let me ask all of us basically what's been trending. Begin with you, David.
Okay. Thank you, Sabot. Look, if you walk down Broad Street, Sabot, and take a look at the tree garden, Tree tree garden, and that was erected by the administration of Mary Broad at the Moravia City Corporation. You'll be highly disappointed because that tree garden was meant to beautify Broad Street. But currently, it lies in ruins. With the concrete fence that was built to protect that garden, the concrete fence is broken down. The grass has overgrown, and it appears like the Moravia City Corporation hasn't taken notice of the current state of the tree garden that was meant to beautify Monrovia. Now it has turned into the resting place of disadvantaged young people. In fact, some of them using it as a place to urinate and to defecate, most especially during the night hours. And it has also become a breeding ground for criminals during the midnight hours. And there's a need that they claims the attention of the Monrovia City Corporation or maybe the public works in
Okay.
terms of making sure that that tree garden is repaired or renovated to give Monrovia or the brush to the facelift.
Okay.
It doesn't look good at all.
I agree with you. That's a salient point. I'm hoping that can claim the attention of the Monrovia City Corporation. Desmond, what's on your mind? Let us hear from you quickly.
Well, basically, it's it's part of our talking point. But honestly, I have never had a break to even think of anything free, if not thinking about the few hours ago revelation by the health authority. Talking about the resurfacing of the Ebola virus. We know what Ebola did to our country in 2014 back then, and we know the kind of horrible.
The health authorities didn't say that Ebola had resurfaced here.
No, I mean they said they are preparing for Ebola. Okay, they are suspected.
Let's leave that because we'll talk about that. Let's leave that. Let me hold you there. Josh.
Yes, this is a problem that everyone who drives across the bridge or comes from here to Freeport or comes from Freeport to Monrovia. The Gabriel Tucker Bridge, for car to go from central Monrovia through that bridge now to get, to the other side, it's difficult. And also the gap on it to come on this side is difficult from the Vital end. Very, very difficult. It causes traffic. This is just to call the attention of the Ministry of Public Works to that place. I know most of the time when you see heavy traffic in the bridge, it can be the cause because car cannot easily get off that bridge easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also difficult for cars to get on the bridge to come to Central Monrovia.
Why?
And the bridge down there is spoiled. Spoiled. So at the end of the day, there's another area when it comes to the few days rain, you can see Vital, the water, fire and Clareton area there. The drainages down there are not open, so the water can sit there. Too bad, So this is a clarion call to the Ministry of Public Works to take note of these things because I can be afraid when heavy traffic sit in that bridge.
Yeah, sure.
They can be choked.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a salient point. Let's welcome Moses Sunday to the program. Moses, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Do you hear me?
Yes, you are very loud and clear.
Okay, it's good to be back. Well, all of you, all of my colleagues in studio. Let me say hi. What is on my mind? Well, I just want to elevate a position I told today in the media. My appeal to the Bwaka administration is that if the government is to make progress in ensuring accountability in the public sector, then the government itself has to be above approach. Because if you are doing the same thing that you're going after people in the we administration, then the question that comes is, do you have that moral rectitude? Do you have moral qualification to hold people accountable when people are doing the same shady thing in your administration? That's why I appeal to the Bwaka administration. President Bwaka needs to hold people in his administration accountable to the same standard that he's using to hold people accountable in past administration. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Moses. Again, viewers kindly share the show, share the live video so that your friends, your relatives, your loved ones, your partners can also follow what's happening tonight on the nighttime heat. As usual, it's always interesting, very intriguing. We covered trending issues. And so, gentlemen, let's begin tonight quickly. We know the Ministry of Health authorities have announced that some 16 foreign nationals are under surveillance. They've been monitored. They came from Ghana, but we will listen to the Minister of Health and the Director General of the National Public Health Institute. Let's hear them and we'll do our own discussion.
Healthcare workers. We are intensifying public awareness and risk communication activities. Honorable Speaker, we are also closely coordinating with the World Health Organization, the Africa CDC, the US CDC, and other regional bodies. We have challenges. We have limited emergency preparedness funding. As you may be aware, we do not have an emergency fund in the budget. We also have limited healthcare infrastructure, as well as limited isolation capacity and essential equipment for an outbreak, in the unlikelihood if an outbreak comes about. We also, Honorable Speaker, want you during this period, the process of PPCC remains a hurdle. We're asking you to speak with the PPC director to reduce the lead time for us to bring in the needed IPCs into the country as soon as possible. We are also asking you, as you call the airport authority and the immigration, to help us with the collaboration of the necessary entities as it relates to border control. We're asking you, because that will strengthen the inter-sectoral coordination. We're asking you to support the expansion of the healthcare infrastructure. During the last Ebola outbreak, we had infrastructure around the 15 counties. We have done assessment.
Inquiry, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my inquiry is based on the fact that the minister gave us a presentation. That process is everything he says here. But the few things he did say in the past 2 minutes appear not to be on this document. I just want to know from her whether it's a separate document, because you're asking him for some things. Whether you present that to him separately.
Yes.
Okay, thank
There is no confirmed Ebola virus disease in this project, but due to the evolving situation in Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, this requires heightened vigilance and sustained preparedness. I will now ask the DG of the National Public.
Okay, so we'll listen to the DG, the Director General of the National Public Health Institute. But I think what the minister was doing was she was trying to announce plans ahead of whatever outbreak, asking for additional health centers and asking for, resources and all of that. But Dave, let's hear from you, because, we're still trying to process the video concerning the video of the Director General, because she announced the number of individuals who are currently on surveillance. So let's hear from you. This whole thing started with a health worker, Miss Bidel, Paula Bidel, who distributed an audio message, and as a result of that, she was trying to caution, inform our health workers or colleagues in some chat room, according to her, that this Ebola thing was again re-emerging. At the end of the day, the video went. The audio message went viral, and she was picked up, incarcerated for 2 days. I think she was released to a lawyer yesterday. But exactly what she said, it's almost what we are hearing now, because according to her, there was this training, that was being held, trying to educate them about some precautionary measures, especially when it was reported that Ebola has broken up in other part of the region. Now she has been released, but what, as she said, it's almost what we are hearing. Let's begin with you, Dave.
Well, what I can say is that, I guess there was a comprehension problem in some quarters about what she said. she was misconstrued, she was misinterpreted, and exactly what she was doing was to send a caveat that look, we have to be careful
Mhm.
that Ebola, the news of Ebola is re-emerging, most especially following the recent incident in the DR Congo. And she meant well, but people thought she meant harm. And exactly what she said,
Mhm.
the same caveat she sounded is exactly what we're hearing. I heard that, and it was it a health minister speaking,
Yeah, yeah.
that there's a need to start assembling the requisite resources in terms of infrastructure. I mean, to get ready, prevention is, as it is often said, prevention is better than cure.
Mhm.
So there's a need that we start to assemble the requisite resources, including infrastructure and financial resources, so that in case of an eventuality, so that Liberia can already be prepared in terms of protecting its citizens against any outbreak in Liberia. But uh, as far as I do know, and what I've heard so far, they hasn't been an Ebola outbreak in Liberia.
They have not been announced here. Yeah.
It hasn't no, there hasn't been an official statement announcing that Ebola is in Liberia. What they have been, what the health authorities are doing, the fact that people Ebola is in DR Congo, we're hearing about that. The fact that people are coming into the country from around Africa is a precautionary measure that
Now,
can.
so let me hold you. So
Uh-huh.
the fact that what this lady said is similar to what we are hearing now.
Yeah.
Do you think whatever punishment, because I read that she has been suspended already, do you think there's a need to reverse whatever punishment already she has? She went to prison for 2 days. Her name was publicized. That she tried to disseminate fake information, but exactly what she said. We're hearing something of that nature. Do you think there's no need anymore to have her suspended?
There's no need to have her suspended. Uh, I think she went to jail, or whoever must have ordered her detention must have done so through emotions, without meticulously looking into what she said, or she allegedly said, that was interpreted as spreading fake information about the issue of Ebola. And so, in fact, if exactly what you said can align, can what you said can be aligned with what we have just heard, then whoever that must have ordered her detention owes her an apology, because in fact detaining her on allegation of spreading fake information about Ebola casts suspicion on her reputation as a professional health worker.
Okay, let's read it. Now, before we play this tape, let me come to the lawyer. They when she spoke to the media upon her arrest, the media sought to hear from the nursing director at the
The
JFK.
JFK facility.
And this is what she said. Let me just read this. Let me just read a portion of it. JFK Medical Center nursing director denies Ebola case claims, says recent training was precautionary amid DRC outbreak alert. The director of nursing services at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center has clarified that recent staff training on Ebola preparedness was precautionary and did not indicate any confirmed cases of the virus in Liberia. In a statement released following a front page Africa interview in which nurse Paula Bidell claimed she and other nurses were told about a suspected Ebola outbreak during an in-service meeting, Mrs. Joanna D. Jokai said the session was intended to strengthen readiness. Now, let's look at this. Because people have been, and some people have been beating on this Madam Bidel. But what she said, she made reference to this precautionary training, right? It is the same training today that Mrs. Jokai is making reference to, right? Now, how sure are we that during the precautionary training, that Jokai, the training director, the nursing director, did not tell those who were in the training that, look, we are trying to prepare you people. There's a precautionary, preparation because of Ebola being in, Congo and another country. Because the woman made reference to precautionary, and the same word used by the lady, by Mrs. Bidel, is whether she's married, it's the same precautionary word used by Jokai. But only Mrs. Bidel was let's look at it from a legal point, because the reason why I'm asking this question, we are a lawyer. There were individuals who think that by right the police should have also questioned Mrs. Jokai, yes, because she's conducted the training, and it was during that training that she told them about this precautionary measures that the Ministry of Health is trying to take here.
So basically, yes, I follow this particular matter, and I think I do believe that she has been released to her lawyer, still pending for the questioning. Sometimes it is based on the mood of the communication that you put forth. You can be saying one thing, it means another thing. You can be saying another thing, it means different thing. So we have not been pivoted to actually listen to how the information got out there, because in fact after that there are even some Facebook pages, like there's this page I follow called Yeka Koluba page that is saying that there is actually Ebola in Liberia. So again, people now asking, but why are we going after the people who managing that page? Because basically spreading false information is a crime. Because it has the propensity of creating panic. It has the propensity of even shutting down your economy. We've had experience with Ebola. We've had experience with COVID, and we saw the impact it had on our country. So any statement being made by those who are affiliated with the healthcare sector, it creates the propensity of a scare. So therefore, for the government to be able to actually control that, government have to take some proactive measures and bring them in
The question
to actually investigate what was the comment made.
The question is,
the
government only apprehended Madam Bidel.
So apparently, the government only heard what Madam Bidel said in the public. So Madam Bidel now will have to go during the explanation. It will be established as to where did she get the information from.
So she did that. They had a training program.
Yes,
and the training was being was conducted by Madam Mrs. Jokai, and she said it was a precautionary training program. Now, with the explanation, the question, what I'm trying to establish, because that was the argument of some individuals.
Okay,
that Madam Bidel should have been the only person.
So the fact that she has admitted that it was a precautionary statement made, and that's what she re-echoed. If that's what she re-echoed, then the police have no reason to even call her back for investigation, and they have no reasons to even call Madam Bidel, because this is just a precautionary issue. But if it is believed that she actually altered that there was Ebola presence in Liberia, that was why they were doing the training, then she will have to now definitely be cautioned to know exactly where she got that fact from. So sometimes when statements are made, you have to analyze it from which standpoint.
Okay, let me hold you. Yeah, George.
So frankly, I blame her.
And not
I don't think she was ethical.
Not Mrs. Jokai.
No, okay. I'm coming to Mrs. Jokai.
Okay.
She was not ethical enough. All right. She went to the training. She was told that this information is private and should be kept as such. She went recorded her voice, elevated it in her chat room in another clinic that she works with, another hospital, both for women. Pull it in the chat room. Somebody pick it up from that chat room and carry it outside and started spreading around. That was grossly unprofessional. There is nothing to hide here about her. All right. The detail of the information from Mrs. Jokai has not been independently confirmed. In fact, we just got into gas. I have not. You got to say some kind of statement came from MFA, right?
Yeah, we're about to
fine.
that.
When we go there, they ask me, I will explain further because I haven't listened to that statement. But if you go to a professional training and they tell you, say this information is confidential and we should treat it because they see it stay behind the scene, you should be professional enough. You can share with your friends. You can talk with them verbally. You can tell them, say, look, we let us be, careful. We're hearing information like this, and that. But you record your voice and drop it in the chat room, and it's going like wildfire. I think something wrong somewhere. That's where.
So in another word, Mistress Jokai didn't do anything wrong. She should have been. She didn't, commit any crime.
I don't exactly know what she said because we haven't heard from her.
I just read what she said. She indicated that yes, a training was done and was for the purpose of it was a precautionary training.
Yeah. If I ask you,
so I have to educate them, or maybe educate them to take precautionary measures.
Now, if she said that, she's not wrong. If she went further to say yes, we got patients here. You understand? We got patients here, and you guys should take precaution because we are suspecting some people here. Of course, I will still blame that woman for being unprofessional for recording her voice and putting in chat room.
Okay.
But that I would tell her, say, yeah, if all the patient exists, of course, I would say she's right for doing that to tell the nurses to take precautionary. So, but if all the patients don't exist and she's telling them, say, oh, this and that, we should do this, or like,
but she was picked up on Sunday, right? Either Sunday or Monday. Yes, Sunday.
She was released.
She was released, I think, Monday.
I think her lawyer, her counselor, that Baoko, right?
Yeah, she was picked up.
So here I clash on Facebook on this issue, on the issue of false alarm. Okay, and I told him that I'm not a lawyer, but Ebola will know the impact of Ebola on Liberia. If somebody just comes out and just record her voice and say that, nobody will take it to be granted. It has a propensity as the attorney at law just said, to scare away investors, potential investors, and shut the entire economy. And later he didn't respond to me. I told him clear.
Okay, let me hold you there. Moses.
Yeah.
Let's get your take on this. This lady came up, spread the information, and then that sparked reaction from the nursing director at the JFK. What she did explain, they didn't show any difference from what the health worker explained. And just a few hours later, a day or two later, we heard about this revelation about 60 individuals undergoing surveillance. Let's hear from you. Do you think there's any need to punish this woman further because already she has been suspended?
Well, this is how I would like to begin. I agree with George. I know her intention was good. She had a good intent that she needed to alert her colleagues. But the error she made was to do an audio or a video recording and mistakenly put that in a chat room. Someone elevated that to a different level. So on that, we can say, yes, she dropped the ball, as we say, yeah, she erred. But she had a good intent because they were told that, hey, now we need to take a little bit of a precaution here by Madam Joka, the director of nursing. One thing the director of nursing has never come to dispute is that she has never come to say that she never talked to the people. She met with them. She created the awareness that, hey, we have to take some precautionary measure. And the lady said, Director Joka also allegedly told them that, hey, some people came from East Africa, Uganda, and they had symptoms of Ebola. When the director made a clarification in the media, she did not dispute that. She did not. All she said was that she spoke to the people. She spoke to nurses during training that they would need to take precaution. You understand? So she has not disputed that. But what this lady said is turning out to be true because the government has confirmed what she said. She said some people came from East Africa, and that number also included Liberians. The Liberian government has reported similar information. These people are on undergoing surveillance. Now, if you have reconfirmed what this woman reported, even though she made an error, what I don't comprehend is that is the same government through the JFK that has gone to the extent of suspending this woman from work. The lady was arrested, berated, embarrassed, and after that, you admit that, yeah, we have this problem, but you said suspending the woman. I don't get it.
So you believe that suspension was not justified at all?
It's not justifiable because the government has indirectly reconfirmed what the woman said.
Okay, let's hold it there. Mr. William?
Yes, sir. So let me conclude my introductory comment by saying that I didn't confirm that Ebola is in Liberia. No, I said the resurfacing of Ebola in Africa and our health authorities becoming to create the awareness. I think it is alarming. That has been on my mind for over days now. I know because we know the horrible nightmare Ebola has taught us in the country in 2014 back then. So this is what I got to be. I will
Please speak to the microphone.
I will look at this from a very two perspective. One, legally, every profession, they are governed by ethics. Ethically, that lady was wrong to have disseminated such information. The health authorities, when it comes to the dissemination of sensitive information relating to whether disease or virus, it is of designated bodies in our health authorities that gave her this information, not an individual nurse or an individual doctor. So she was wrong. Ethically, she was wrong. Now, this is another perspective. The government arrested the young lady on the crime, also on the offense of creating false alarm. She was placed beyond bar. Now, if for any reason the government arrested the lady on the basis of creating false alarm, and then the same government indirectly is confirming the very same information that the young lady provided, then where is the false alarm? So, Cindy said, the suspension. I think it is the government is overly doing or overly punishing the young lady for the action. That it makes the case more suspicious of the manner in which the government is treating the young lady.
Okay.
So just to conclude, Sabo. Now, if for any reason the government believes that with these people who were now 16 that are being under surveillance, there must be, because we know how Ebola came in 2014, there have been suspected cases. It is for this kind of suspected cases you go see after a few days or 2 months, they tell you, we get one confirmed case of God forbid, which of course we don't want that to happen. But again, we got to speak to the facts. All right, the history of 2014, it is the raw material that will govern us today. So I think, in my honest opinion, the government needs to reverse the punishment given to that young lady. Now that she already been through a first punishment of detention, that is enough. And I think the government needs to, reinstate her to a job.
Do you agree? Let me ask you. You are a lawyer. You think the fact that she went to jail, spent 2 nights, released, to a lawyer, on top of that, the health authorities just suspended her. You think it's double punishment that she faced?
No, I don't think so. The reason being that, like I said, spreading false information is a crime, whether it's an infraction or so. But however, there are punishment attached to that, and in as much as the investigation process have not yet been completed, whatever Whatever she has gone through is just a precautionary measure to keep her under the authority of the national security until they can go through the proper investigation process. However, because whatever crime that she may had committed is actually billable, therefore she has the right to her counsel, and then the counsel could take her in until this whole matter can come to a finality. Whatever charges that will be brought against her, definitely she has to face that punishment. It is not basically because we're trying to be empathetic.
You think the suspicion is justified?
It's justified. We're not trying to be, empathetic to her or to say, well, she has gone through all of this, so let's just let it be. We're trying to set a precaution. I say in my opening statement, sometimes when people make statement, it goes far beyond, and we don't know the implication. It could cost us millions of dollars in losses. It could create scare. People could start closing down schools. They could start closing down businesses. People could start doing panic buying. There could be shortage of food on the market that we did not anticipate. Just in one statement, and people do not know the effect of social media this day. Things quicker. I was one time skimming through some documentary, and I read about the Rwandan genocide. It was just a statement on the radio that led to the killing of close to 1 million people.
Yeah, sure.
So we have to be very careful how we disseminate information to the public.
Okay. All right, let me hold you there. George.
So I don't think her punishment should be dropped because she was already arrested, and so she's undergoing investigation. No, this is ethical breach. She's not a spokesperson for the entity she works for. She's not even spokesperson for how to call it, Women of Hope, whatsoever where she is. If she sees anything, she should go to the channel. People should not just be group of people when they hear anything because social media is available, record your voice. It's unethical, it's unprofessional. I'm not looking at the message being true or lie. Not facing reality. Mm-hmm. I am looking at the manner and form in which she elevated that particular information, because she's not the authoritative individual, or she's not even part of the authoritative individuals to release such information to the public. She did.
Okay.
She can be suspended as she's suspended if even the government deems it necessary, because she cannot keep confidential information anymore. She somehow cannot be trusted with information. She can either be dismissed or transferred somewhere that do not have access to such information, because she did it to herself.
Okay.
That's just a fact.
Okay. Now let's listen to the Director General of Enfield.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable President, Honorable members of the House of Representatives, in response to a communication received dated the 22nd of May, communication dated on the 22nd of May 2026, requesting a comprehensive update on existing surveillance mechanisms, order screening protocols. So in response to a communication dated the 22nd of May 2026, requesting a comprehensive report from Enfield on the existing surveillance mechanisms, order screening protocols, emergency preparedness plan, interagency coordination efforts, public awareness, and preventive measures being implemented. I kindly request your audience to provide the details. Kindly permit me to recognize the presence of my Honorable Board Chair, Dr. Stephen B. Kennedy.
Order, Speaker.
Order. Hey!
Parliamentary proceeding. What's the point of order?
My point of order here is that the witness should only address the Speaker
Order sustained. Proceed. Point of order. The witness appear on the stand did not call her name and only start to
just enter.
Thank you. So, with regards to the existing surveillance mechanisms, Liberia maintains an established integrated disease surveillance response. The National Public Health Institute of Liberia, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, has a multiple surveillance approach. We have indicator-based surveillance, event-based surveillance, community-based surveillance, and rumor and media reporting. There are 989 health facilities nationwide and 98 health districts. I'm proud to inform this body, honorable, that we have a district surveillance officer for each of our districts. We have a wealth of field epidemiologists. We have community health assistants and surveillance officers that support early detection and reporting. We have a rapid alert investigation mechanism in place, and we also have a laboratory surveillance system that is linked to field surveillance. And Liberia continues active monitoring of regional epidemiological information from WHO. We also are currently managing 3 national outbreaks: monkeypox, Lassa fever, and measles. And so our systems are active and running. So Liberia existing surveillance systems are designed for early detection, notification, investigation, and response of suspected cases. They are trained workforce at all levels of emergency. And we have developed a national EVD preparedness plan and a coordinated risk assessment using the WHO guidance. Our risk assessment show that we are 69% ready, and they cover a range of areas, and notably we fare poorly with logistics. We have a 49% for logistics. With regard to border screening protocols, Your Honorable, Liberia continues to strengthen surveillance at airports, seaports, and ground crossings. There are 49 official crossing points, of which 8 are designated and recognized with the international health regulations. Our port health personnel are sensitized on Ebola case definitions and reporting. On a daily basis, our port health officers report screening of all travelers, record traveling from or transitioning through hotspots, conduct risk assessment of travelers through our health declaration form. We currently have a paper-based health declaration form, and we are in the process of negotiating with a software developer that previously developed the COVID digital app for us to use that. So our travelers will be able to provide information before boarding the flight, and will be prepared to know who's coming. As of yesterday morning, we have screened and monitoring 16 travelers from the region, the affected region, which included 9 Ugandans, 3 Liberians, 1 from DRC,
When they come into
Canada.
Why you can go to that?
Why you can go there?
So, gentlemen, seriously.
Yeah, choke up.
So, gentlemen, we listened to the National Public Health Institute Director General, and she confirmed that up to date, 16 individuals are under surveillance. What does that speak about? Let me talk to Kelvin. I think she's trying to Kelvin Deming, journalist. He wants to chip just waiting. Kelvin, welcome to the program.
Yeah, gentlemen, good evening.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm following the conversation. Is healthy, but there are just few issues I thought to contribute.
Mm-hmm.
So, Payola is a certified or a registered or licensed nurse. Under the code of conduct that governs the nurses in our country, it has the do's and don'ts. Part of the don'ts is that they should not divulge sensitive information about people's medical history, and they are not clothed with the authority to disclose sensitive information that could put the country into harm's way. It is there, it's in their code. Now, I heard our brother from the USA say that she mistakenly put it in a chat room. Point of correction, that cannot be an attribution of mistake. Why don't I see it as a mistake is because she had come from a major workshop. At that workshop, the nurses were the first in the line of defense. The truth of the matter is that the health workers, the health authorities were already alerted by their partners about the situation in 10 countries, including the countries that the suspected cases came from. And so they alerted Liberia and all other countries that anybody traveling from this country should be under surveillance. By the time the information got to our health command center, they decided to pass it by the immigration, the LIS, to be able to run the profile of people who had just come from those countries. The information was that they had been here for a couple of days or at most a week ago. They had to pursue them to profile them as per their health history. When the health authorities were able to trace these people, they informed the health workers that we are receiving intelligence, confirmed cases in these 10 countries. If you Google countries that are suspected of Ebola or confirmed cases or the existence of Ebola, up to yesterday there were 10 countries, including Uganda, where the suspected persons came from. So they alerted the health workers that we have suspected cases already from the people from these trouble regions. So I call to say that there was nothing wrong with the authorities informing the health workers that we have to prepare ourselves. We have to brace ourselves in case of any eventuality, because they are the first line of confrontation. The next thing was she did an audio recording. So it cannot be deliberate. She did an audio recording and placed it into a family chat room. And told that chat room was because she works for two institutions. She worked for Both for Women
yeah.
and also JFK. So the workshop was held at JFK by the head nurse Lulu and Jokai. They were the ones who were the front runners of the workshop. After that workshop, of course, the medical people, like the case with the press, the case with we, the media people, you in several media chat rooms, right?
Mm-hmm.
We in several media. You got PEL chat room, you got Reporters Association, you got SWA, you got Reporters Without Borders, and several chat rooms. So because she was privileged, she did a recording and had a place in one of the chat rooms, which to me was not altogether a bad thing. Let me be a little sympathetic. It was not altogether a bad thing. But then, someone tells someone, another person tells someone, oh, we just got information that one of our friends who is a nurse, let me simplify it. One of our friends who is a nurse was in a workshop today. And at that workshop, it was disclosed that there are people who are suspected of COVID. Oh, really? Yeah, she put it in a chat room. And of course, you know how things can go viral.
Mm-hmm.
From that chat room she had it placed in, it flew to another chat room, to another chat room, to another chat room, and it started going viral. Now, I also want to say here, on that margin of that, it was an ethical breach. To me, sympathetically, she didn't do it deliberately. She thought that it was a means to inform other health workers, not knowing that there would be a consequence. So she breached ethically. So for our brother in America to say she should have not bear the consequences of what she's bearing. I respectfully disagree. This is equivalent to the
Kevin.
Yeah.
So the concern now is she was apprehended. She went to jail for 2 days. After she came out, we just saw a release suspending her. So there's argument that she shouldn't be going through those sort of double punishment.
I want to side with my brother Edwin family. Now, this is not altogether to humiliate, or we need to go through this, and she should serve as an example. Why? Because, like I mentioned this morning on the radio, not all, and let me be respectful, not all of our health workers, but some of our health workers, their mouths don't sit down.
That's true.
And this is just the case with COVID. But they are private. If the president goes to hospital, how do the public get to know? The people in the hospital. When a public official goes to a hospital, how do the public get to know? How do we get pictures out of those? How do we get images out of those rooms where it is clearly posted and pasted on the walls that no photography is allowed? The health workers are primarily responsible for information coming outside of those private wards because they are there, not leaving the patients unattended. Now, in the military, if a military person sees a group of armed insurgents coming through out of our borders, maybe from Guinea to Liberia, or from Sierra Leone to Liberia, or from Ivory Coast to Liberia, either through the approved or unapproved crossing points, no army personnel has the right to go Facebook Live or record and post it in a chat room and say, fellow Liberians, I just want to have you people informed that I saw 15 men well armed coming through Guinea. There is a chain of command. And my brother in studio there, what's his name, every family knows exactly what I'm talking about. You have to inform the team, you have to inform the authorities, and they will have to process the information to corroborate with it and know how it is even transmitted to the public.
Okay.
That's why when you call anybody in the army and even in the police, there is a tradition that will tell you, call Sam Collins. If it is in the army, they will tell you, call Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Kaplan. No any other person will just take onto him or herself and just speak to the public. That is the chain. That is the code of conduct.
Okay, all right.
Right? The authorities were never wrong for doing what they're doing. They're not going to suspend. They're not going to expel her. She will be reprimanded, and she has to go through this so that it serves as a deterrent. And finally, the other issue here is that the cases are suspected. They are not confirmed cases. They are suspected cases. Even if they were confirmed in the meeting that there are 10 or 16 cases, she had no authorization.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
That conversation to the public.
I agree with you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes.
Yes, so let me just provide a little bit of information.
Okay.
And Kevin, thank you so much for calling in. It is good that as I listen to you, we all have the same concern. You conceded that she had a good intent. And I said to you and said to the people of Liberia that it was wrong, it was inappropriate for this woman to have done a video recording or an audio recording to have that posted in a chat room. She was communicating with health workers, people of her peer. I heard you talk about medical records. When we speak about medical records here, when you cannot disclose, in the United States, we have a law called HIPAA. If Moses Sani is diabetic and he went to JFK for treatment, if Moses Sani did not sign a release of consent that, hey, you can disclose that information to Mr. Sober George, if a health worker does that, that would be a violation of Mr. Sani's right. That would be a violation of health protocol. In this case, when the lady spoke, she did not call names. She did not call names. What she made mention was that, hey, we have people in this country that are being monitored. They are coming down with the symptoms of Ebola. Her targeted audience was what? Nurses. She wasn't talking to poverty. I mean, she wasn't talking to ordinary people. She was talking to what? Nurses. Unfortunately, she used the wrong medium. So, Kevin, I agree with you. She used the wrong medium. She should not have done that. But I can say her intent was good. Thank you.
Thank you, Moses. Now, Tablet, I was just, trying to throw the question to you. Now it has been confirmed by health authorities that there were 16, foreign nationals under surveillance. And that confirmed that they have the virus, but they are under surveillance, especially, come from the country from where the virus is reported. Now, what do you think now? You listen to the Minister of Health as well, trying to request for support from the government to be able to build our capacity so that if there's any suspect or whatever case, we can be able to have that ability to fight it. Now, with the information from the National Public Health Institute, from the Minister of Health, what do you think we should be doing by now?
Well, what should we be doing by now? And as you earlier said, there's a need that, look, already those 16 persons who are under surveillance, they came from countries that are already there. Understand what Ebola is already, there's Ebola outbreak in those countries where they've come from. So that, quite frankly, their presence here raises eyebrows, and the government is the health authorities are taking the appropriate measures in terms of prevention, and this is why they're under surveillance. So what is needed before the Ebola breaks out? God forbid it doesn't. The health authorities are calling on the relevant authorities of government to do the needful, just in case it happens, so that we can already be prepared in terms of handling or quelling down the spread of this deadly Ebola disease. So what is needed is, the resources. Quite frankly, you can fight it.
We are hearing about a rough figure of 4.2 million.
Yes.
Let me begin with you. You think that's that lump sum that huge for Ebola preparation, or just need to give it to them?
So basically, let's just set this record straight, because I'm just reading from Al Jazeera, countries that are considered high risks in terms of keeping surveillance and good for all. There's no country in West Africa that is actually on that list. So you have Angola, Burundi, Central African Republic, Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, South Sudan, Tanzania, and Zambia. These are countries that the Africa CDC is saying that, these are the countries that are of hard risks. However, people move from one borders to it, that we cannot stop people from coming, in from any of these countries that have been named. But I think it's important that our stakeholders have started to identify these people as they come in, to be able to keep surveillance on them. We have had this whole episode of Ebola, and we've learned our lessons. And secondly, we've also put some preparatory measures in place. Look, let us not create panic, like, we don't have the system in place. No, that's not true. The MPhil we have today, I can tell you, is one of the best within our sub-region in terms of preparedness. We saw that with the way people predicted the COVID, that people were going to be dying in their thousands or so. Yes, of course, we had few cases, but it did not affect us that way, because we've learned from the Ebola outbreak. And I think systems were put in place, there are testing mechanisms in place. However, they still need to be supported. And I think yesterday I saw fleets of ambulances that were given, I think, to the government or so. Those are all, measures put in place. Coupled with maybe the $4.2 million, I think that's something that they can now start working around.
You don't see that been huge.
No, that's I don't see that being huge.
For
looking
preparatory effort.
looking at the disease that we're talking about, and like I say, the likelihood of us having it beyond control, if it happened, God forbid, I don't see that happening, because hey, we've been through that before. We already know some of the processes. We have knowledge about how to prevent ourselves, how not to cluster, ourselves together. So in that way itself, it gave us some level of comfort.
Okay,
that we'll be able to fight it.
Yeah. Well, what do you think we should be doing now, especially with the latest information from Enfield?
I think the first thing we need to do, the citizens need to act first. Start practicing the preventive measures of our own. The fact that the authority has said they're monitoring some people, from 16 people, they came here for like a week or plus, and the incubation process or period of this particular virus is 21 days. So if they met them after 1 week, you should know they have already come in contact with a lot of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing we need to do, let me forget about the health people first. We, the citizens, need to now start to practice this, our regular hand washing and other things, using sanitizers, other things as we used to do, and then try to minimize our personal contacts. With other people, you can greet someone without touching them. You can, with the handshaking use of us, minimize it small, so that in case of anything, the health authority, our system will not be overwhelmed, because we could take all the best measures here. We may not be able to control the borders, our neighboring countries. We may have the best facilities here, but our neighbors, if they don't have, people travel from place to place. I heard the MFA director say that we have 989 health facilities across the country. We have 49 official crossing points. The unofficial crossing point, more than 300. That's 49 official crossing points that we have. So these 49 official crossing points, she told us clear that 8 of them are what they're really monitoring. That alone worries me. If at all there's problem in other countries, like what happened during the first Ebola, it came from Guinea Strait or Liberia, definitely it will happen. So the first thing we have to do is to start doing our own observation, washing our hands, using the sanitizer.
Okay.
It's one thing I'd like to add to. George said something about washing hands and the usual
carry out the preventive measures.
Preventive measures. And if the health ministry or the health authorities begin to create such an awareness, asking citizens to start washing hands. First of all, the other way around is the health authorities would be telling the people that
the virus in town.
In town, they would start creating anxiety, and the fear will start be spreading around the place. So instead of going on radio and telling people, so don't wash your hands and blah, 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 I think the health authorities should be working in the background and start instituting the preventive measures.
I can't say that message should come from the health authorities. This is just my own. I
understand.
Because I asked you what we should be doing.
What we should be doing
with the latest.
Yeah, we can help the
that's one.
authorities.
This is your term. Yeah.
So basically, that when I listen to the interim director general of Enfield, that like what Mr. Kennedy says, something very key is about having control over our borders. So but we live in a country that is very, I don't want to say vulnerable, but of course, I mean, there are several crossing points. Even the immigration, the last time we reported that over close around 100 plus passes, points. There are just few they are monitoring. There are just few they have LRS personnel being deployed to tell you to what risks that Liberia stands. So to speak about what needs to be done, I mean, I think the government has a greater responsibility to making sure that the preventive measure is kept at the highest score. One, those borders identified, make sure that all of health practitioners are deployed. Not just that, they are well empowered to make sure that they keep guard. They keep effective guard on post. And the second issue is the government needs to work as fast as quick at making sure to secure the budget that is being the 4.2 million that is being recommended, by the entity to engage into preparedness. Man, you about 4.2 million. Remember, health is wealth. If we must fight and fight this deadly virus, if we must succeed, then the government and everybody needs to put a hand put all hands on decks, especially what the people need to work, empower them and let them do the work. 4.2 million is not much, but we have a speaker office that receive allegedly 500,000 for entertainment.
All right, let's forget
So
that.
so just to send a caveat.
I come, Moses. I'm coming.
Just to send a caveat. There's no virus in Liberia. It has never been confirmed. It's not in Liberia. So let's just send that caveat before people say, "Oh, we listen to people on the radio. They're talking about fighting virus." There is no virus in Liberia. It has not been confirmed. There are people that came from countries that are being monitored. So therefore, if there is any changes within that information, the relevant authority will inform the Liberian people as to what is happening and what control mechanisms they have in place. But as it is, there's no case of Ebola in Liberia.
Now, Moses is a term with the latest from Enfield. What do you think we as a country now should be doing?
I think the guys have said everything. The necessary precautionary measures need to be taken. Making sure that public places where people, gather at, they put in place the necessary precautions that people can't. They bring in watching. They got hand sanitizers. We apply the same thing at home, and do everything that you can to make sure that you remain safe and well. Now, something that I want to talk about, and this has to do with the $4.2 million budget submitted. I don't know if this was submitted by the Ministry of Health or it was submitted by Enfield. But this is what that really stands out to me, Asobo. I had the opportunity. Last week, I watched a video that emanated from the Liberian Senate. The Minister of Health appeared with the controller. And Senator DeLong asked the Minister of Health, "Madam Minister, yes, can you tell us the budgetary allocation for this health sector of Liberia?" Not the Ministry of Health, the health sector of Liberia. Guys, I am telling you, the Minister of Health was embarrassed. She didn't know the figure. And the guy asked her repeatedly, "Can you tell us you want funding for volunteer health workers? You want this, you want that? Can you tell us what is the budgetary allocation for the health sector of the Republic of Liberia?" The Minister of Health had no clue. I'm saying this to say that if you manage a sector, you have no clue in terms of how much funding is going into that. In less than 1 week, where did you derive the $4.2 million that you're asking for? How did you derive this budget? Is people just throwing numbers? I think our people really need to take a closer look at what is coming from the Ministry of Health. I'm not trying to downplay this problem, but if the minister had no clue in terms of how much is being put into the healthcare sector of the country, where did the $4.2 million budget come from? That's my concern.
All right, so we'll have to transition. You listen to the nighttime heat.
So
yes, 1 minute.
He raised a very good concern, and sometimes we need to, help to honor. You see, whenever the budget is made, there's something in the budget called supplementary budget, and in all of our budget, there are always resources kept just for miscellaneous or for emergency purpose, right? And I can tell you, for those of us that have friends within the Liberian Senate, sometimes we ask them these questions. And basically, those monies are suspended without no allocation because of this kind of a crisis. So when there are crises or when there are things, maybe unexpected death happen, maybe with a high level profile person, government goes there and say, look, we can take the money here, maybe 50,000 to give to this family. So I'm very sure if at this point in time that money is not coming from the Ministry of Health, it should be coming from that supplementary fund just even somewhere that government can run into and take it to be able to allocate for this kind of emergency. Yes.
Okay.
Please, because Mr. Sandy struck a very important point. You, the minister, you should know the figures. You should know the numbers affecting your sector. Both NGO and public sector funding that go there. You should know the size of NGO investment in the health sector, how much they say they are spending. You can tell the government this is what they say they are spending. We don't control this, but from the government end, this is the amount available or that was budgeted for the health sector. It would have been better. I didn't listen to her. I mean, I'm not saying 100% what Moses is true, but I didn't listen to her. But if I heard what happened there, was discouraging.
Sure.
And her embarrassing experience should be a lesson to others. Whenever you are summoned or invited by the House of Representatives or the Senate as head of a government ministry or agency, you should be prepared. We don't go empty-headed, assuming that they wouldn't ask you a particular question, most especially when it has to do with the health sector. The Minister of Health must have carelessly, gone to the ministry to the legislature without preparing herself. Because first of all, as the Minister of Health, you should have at your fingertip what your budget is, or what your budget isn't, and what you need and what you don't need. Those kind of questions you should expect.
Okay, gentlemen.
So
I think
I think you were ill prepared.
Yeah, I think we took a long time on the sector, and which is very important. We're hoping that the government will provide the necessary support to the health team to do the sort of work they are doing. The issue of monitoring those people. When you're monitoring at the same time, it's also capital intensive. Maybe they may not be they may not be in the hospital, they may be at home. And sometimes when the person's at home, you daily send the medical personnel there to
take specimens,
all of that. So it's also capital intensive. I will add the ministry before I know exactly what it is. So let's try to transition quickly. Listen to the Nighttime Heat, right on Prime FM 105.5. We are streaming live on our Facebook and our YouTube channel. We are also streaming live on Prime FM Monrovia 105.5. Let's talk about the Minister of Finance and Development Planning. He's been attending a high-level constituency meeting. Let's just read something that will talk about how does that elevate Liberia regionally, and put our mouths to it as well. Minister Gafuan chairs high-level AFDB constituency meeting during 2026 annual summit. On the margins of the ongoing 2026 annual meeting of the African Development Bank Group, senior government officials and financial policy makers from 5 African nations convened Monday in Brazzaville for the 2026 annual meeting of AFDB Constituency 15, a regional bloc comprising the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Sudan. The high-level gathering took place on the sidelines of the Continental Bank Annual Summit, which is bringing together heads of state, ministers of finance, central bank governors, development experts, and private sector leaders to discuss Africa's economic outlook, infrastructure financing, climate resilience, debt sustainability, and regional integration. Presiding over the meeting was Augustine Pehe Gafuan, Liberia's Minister of Finance and Development Planning and current chairman of Constituency 15. Gafuan chaired the deliberations aimed at strengthening policy coordination, regional financial cooperation, and collective engagement within the African Development Bank system. Okay, let me come down here and say, okay, the constituency structure also strengthens representation for member states in shaping decisions at one of Africa's most influential financial institutions. Okay, now, gentlemen, the Minister of Finance, we understand from this read up that he has been the one chairing the meeting. In fact, he's the chair of the constituency 15. Now, the question is, with Liberia playing that type of role, and every time they meet, they're talking about how they can coordinate, financial assistance to country and all of that. What does it mean for our country? Let me begin with you.
Well, it means a lot. We have two major developmental partners in Liberia since post-war. One is the World Bank, and the second is the African Development Bank.
Surely.
Most people, have them follow the African Development Bank, but most of the road corridors that we see coming up in our country or even before are funded by the African Development Bank or the World Bank. Most of the electricity projects are funded by the African Development Bank or the World Bank. Okay. So the African Development Bank happens to be a key developmental partner to Liberia. And Minister Gaffwan, in fact, he's one of the person best suited because that's just, his former employer. He just came from the FDB Bank, came back to Liberia. So he understands the workings of the institution itself from a personal perspective to now being on the national scene representing the interests of his country. So nobody, I think, is within the capacity to represent that country more than Minister Gaffwan, who sits at that level, who also sees the developmental challenges that Liberia has in all of these major infrastructure areas. So I do strongly believe that he's going to pitch for Liberia to see what more dividend we can get in order to be able to add to whatever the African Development Bank is doing now in terms of road infrastructure, in terms of electricity, in terms of water, in terms of education. And I think he's going to keep pushing the bank further to see how we can go deep into it to see, what Liberia can get.
Okay.
And like I said, because he sat there before, so he knows the portfolio of the bank.
Okay. Now, George, the fact that he's chairing, he's serving as chair of the constituency 15. Do you think it gives him a leverage of establishing that camaraderie and influencing his colleagues to do more for Liberia?
Sure. As country director for Uganda, African Development Bank group in Uganda, the minister now spearheaded the construction of the financing of one of the longest stretch of roads in our country that he personally sat on and made sure that it was technically completed before he could leave and come back to serve his country. So what about his country? He could do that for Uganda. And what about his country where, in fact, he's sitting as the head of that sector 15, where he's chairing that meeting? So definitely he's not going to be selfish to push everything to Liberia because, it's part of the law for country. He's going to influence decision to make sure that they make Liberia's case. That would be what the benefit. AFDB has been here for long. I think they built the River G road there, the road in the southeast. They did other projects here. The bank with Liberia for long. In fact, as the bank gets stronger in its current position. I can remember Donna Kabaruka was here when I was in the mainstream media. We went, and so the bank has had interest in Liberia for a while. And so with Minister Gaffwan now as one of theirs, definitely. We are just hoping that, in fact, the dividend to Liberia will be even bigger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave.
Well, for me, I like to look at it from a different perspective. Your initial question was, what does it mean for Liberia?
Surely.
What it actually means is that Liberia has taken its rightful place among the Committee of Nations. The fact that Augustine Gaffwan is not the finance minister in the 15 what? How you call that?
The
The
constituency.
constituency 15 is not the only foreign minister there. The fact that Liberia, foreign minister, Gafon, Liberia foreign minister can be the arrowhead of such a gathering, that tells you that Liberia, the international community, the community or the sub-regional groupings, like the group we're talking about, has explicit confidence in Liberia. That Liberia is a country of trust. Liberia has proven to be on the rightful trajectory in terms of improving infrastructure development in the lives of the people, looking at the road infrastructure and all the things that are happening. And they didn't select GAFAN because they have sympathy for Liberia. The same problems Liberia face, infrastructure developments, the same
Other countries face.
other countries face the same. But the fact that they can select Liberia, maybe it is rotational, but the fact that Liberia has it, that means that Liberia is under the spotlight. Liberia is recognized, and these countries and the world community that's realized that Liberia has now, proven itself to win the confidence of other countries.
Okay.
Most especially the Liberia.
Okay. So we're on the list.
Just to throw a little spin on this, I mean, a lot of my co-panelists said it. Sometimes in these kind of agreements, there are hitches, there are sometimes cliches that create problems for it to come to a full fruition. So obviously, for the obvious reason, you have Minister Gafwan representing the country at that international level. It speaks to a whole lot of different things. We want to talk about Liberia international image being recollected. It talks about Liberia getting donor confidence. It also speaks to the fact that Liberia now is not just a spectator, but also a lead player in terms of decision making of our country. But this one of the advantages it places our country into is when there are certain projects, especially during a negotiation due to government change, government transition. Sometimes these projects are put on hold. Like the recent ground project that was broken ground in Lofa. That project was since during early regime, and then when new government came to power of doing the CDC, there have been some pause on that project, and now we've seen that the ground the ceremony over the weekend took place. So this is what I'm saying is that when your government officials attend these kind of international conferences, they do not just represent themselves, but they present the case of the country, and they manage to convince their peers to say, look, this is a need to invest in Liberia at this point. This is what Liberia needs, and Liberia needs it urgently. So I think it's great for our country, and we hope to see the dividend coming in a very soon as possible time. Thank you.
Moses, your take on Gafwan representing us, chairing the constituency 15 meeting of the AFDB. What's your take on that?
But look, that is how I would like to begin. Mr. Soba John Kande, tell our people in sales that after the show, we need to build the Ministry of Finance. Right, Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Kennedy, but look, on a more serious note, I think that is good for Liberia. It's good for Liberia that we have one of ours, presiding over such a prominent meeting. Looking out for Liberia, it puts Liberia in a better position. But as someone who resides in a country where almost everything is driven by, financing, driven by loans.
Yeah.
When I look at these discussions, when I hear about these discussions, the first thing that stands out to me is the annual percentage rate on every loan given. Let's assume that the ADBL, the African Development Bank, gave Liberia, say, $100 million. And that is how the banks make their money. They tell you, we'll give you $100 million. Just pay us $2,000 a month, hypothetically. And you go jumping for that. You pay $2,000. The bank applies $1,950 to interest and other fees, it means you are only paying $50 towards the $100 million loan that you took. Do you know how long it's going to take you? That is how international monetary institutions make money. I'm saying this because that's what we do here in the United States. If you are not smart, you will die in this country in poverty, because you take vehicles on credit, you take homes on credit. They tell you make the bare minimum payment. If you are not smart, you will just work for them. You will not realize.
I know. Thank you. Thank you,
I'll be honest. Yes.
I know. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Yes. Thank you.
So when I spoke of the projects, now Minister Gafwan undertook in Uganda when he was country manager from 2021 to 2024. Listen to the figure as country manager. Kampala, all the rehabilitation of the city, the Kampala city, the Ugandan capital, they spent $276 million. And just imagine the AFDB, just the same thing the World Bank did to Monrovia, right? To rehabilitate the city. In the Larope Mayo area, they spent $252 million.
Wow.
On roads. And you know, roads, those highways and things, that's about 12 kilometers. The Kambali Lake area, they spent $71.8 million. Then Kampala Jinja Road, they spent $229 million. And the list go up just in that short time. Through his signature, through him, what he was able to do to Uganda. And with him sitting over there now at top of that particular table, there'll be loan, and we could enjoy also from grants, a lot of grants from this, because he performed extremely well for them in Uganda.
Okay, so. I think we'll have a discussion one day talking about our ministers who are helping this government to gain some international recognition and support and exposure. We're going to talk about that, because it's not just about working in government. When you are working, you should be able to help the administration to be able to achieve its objectives. I think so far, I don't know of other ministers, but if you county ministers who are really connected internationally and helping this government, I think I can only lay my hands on Godswill Gafwan and the foreign minister. But we'll talk about that one day, and that will basically also is to encourage them, to engender that spirit of let me do something. Not every time you get government paid and get government paid, help try to serve as an ambassador for the government. Go out there. It's not just about getting the little money that the government is generating through taxes and you get your salaries. Try to help the government as well, and that's what Gafwan is doing. Sometimes we'll say, it takes. That's what he's doing, and we'll have to speak those things so that people know. But gentlemen, let's try to transition quickly. Like we said, it's really easy now, so we'll have to actually observe time. The NIMBO of Deputy Speaker Thomas Farr was launched a few days ago. At the launch, we saw some officials of government, but one official of government whose presence sparked some major public concern and debate is the Civil Service Agency Director General, our own good friend Josiah Jokai. He was there, and of course, I don't know why it sparked. I don't know why the concerns, were so huge. Is it because he wore the T-shirt, the T-shirt of NIMBO, and he displayed himself in public? And there are individuals who think that he has violated some civil service law, and also he has exposed the double standard in the Unity Party, because we can remember Emma Glasgow was booted out, among other reasons, for just wearing a party regalia. Now we saw the man Jokai wearing a regalia for NIMBO. And NIMBO is an auxiliary group for the United Party. Dave, do you hold that view that he shouldn't have?
Well, this is a difficult one, and you try to put me in a squeeze.
Should I begin with you?
Yeah, you try to put me in the squeeze.
All right, let me begin with. Let me begin with.
No, that doesn't mean that I'm giving up.
I thought you. I thought you're unable to answer.
That doesn't mean that I cannot give my personal opinion.
Yes, surely.
Look, well, apparently I didn't watch the video, so I wouldn't be able to actually say he wore it in with the fact that you can say that. I guess that you wouldn't. There's no need for you to fabricate anything here. If there are laws that forbade officials to go.
Please put a picture on.
If there are laws,
if
there are laws that forbade officials of government from wearing party T-shirts or party caps, then Josiah Jokai, then he has violated those laws. If they are laws that forbade officials of government, and I'm aware of these laws, that as an official of government, most especially wearing party regalia or T-shirts or other things, that's in violation of the law. And then Josiah Jokai has violated, if at all, while we're hearing there's something to go by. And another thing is that I guess Josiah Jokai, his name is a very difficult
Jokai, let's go ahead.
Jokai. Jokai. He knows better. If he knows better than I expect him to know, I don't think he would just deliberately pick up a T-shirt of.
Let me read something quickly.
You can read that.
That will also help you, I'm sure. It'll give you some remembrance. The Bawker administration fired civil servants and pushed out 10 new protected officials for wearing party colors and showing loyalty to the previous CDC government during the 2023 elections. This weekend, the Director General of the Civil Service Agency did exactly that, and his job appears safe. Okay.
His job
we send the document to you quickly.
His job appears safe. That's the person's opinion. First of all, the program was just held this gone Sunday, right? Who knows what's in the making? Who knows whether the relevant authorities of government have taken notice of that Josiah Jokai has violated the laws that forbade officials of government from wearing party T-shirts or attending party programs or auxiliary or political parties programs with their T-shirts and other things. If that is the case, if Josiah Jokai violated the laws, no one can conclude none as whether there isn't any discussions going on behind the scenes, or there isn't any plan to have him reprimanded, or even make sure that he bears the consequences for violating those laws.
Okay.
So if somebody coming up to conclude that there isn't any sign of him leaving the job, then I disagree. What I can say is that the fact that he did that, and it was noticed by even the president himself who attended that program, I guess, who knows what happens tomorrow or the day after that. Because Josiah Jokai did that, he has been suspended or dismissed from a job because he did that. If the government doesn't do that, if President Bawker doesn't take such an action, when in fact,
do you know when the program was held?
When in fact he had taken.
Do you know when the program was held? The program, the launch of NIMBO.
It was held on Sunday.
What's the day today?
today's
Jokai is still occupying the CSA.
No, but Saba.
Okay, let me hold you. No, let me hold you. Let me hold you there.
No, you asked me. No, you asked me.
You trying to
Don't worry, you come back.
This argument or this debate is in two folds. Number one,
George is a term. Yeah.
Number one, clarity. Nimbo is not a political party,
but it has a political intention.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have political intention.
Mm-hmm.
They were founded to support the political party.
Yeah, but they're still a political institution. It's the same. I mean,
no.
All right, yeah, go ahead. It's a turn. Sorry, it's a turn. Go ahead.
They don't have intention to be a political party.
Okay.
They were founded to get their members to support the political party. But where the problem is with my big brother, we're from the same place. He's a family member. I always telling you all this.
Yeah, sure.
He's a family member. You are the HR, the head of HR for the country. You are the head of HR for the people who work in government. They are citizens. They are from Liberty Party. They are from all the political parties. They are from the Unity Party. Okay, so if we will be like to say, okay, public workers, civil servants, public sector workers should not get that engaged in political activities. If you look at their public sector job, then you help the HR, you getting into political activities like that, then of course you are giving them the go ahead to go and do what they do. I know that you turn my big brother upside down, you bring him down. President Bouakai running for president, he will support. Everything that he got in his lifetime, he can spend it to support because that is his uncle. And he's going to do that. He never had to wear Nimbo t-shirt or even go there to show his support for him. All right? I feel that he should have maintained his independence.
Or neutrality.
No, the word neutrality, I don't like to use it for people who know the difference between wrong and right. Okay? Because...
So was he wrong to wear Nimbo
I don't want to be too strong to say wrong, but I think
but you weren't trying to polish it here.
It was a misstep.
Okay, misstep. Let's hear from you, comrade.
Yes, so I mean, there is nothing to hide, right? We need to be very definitive about to what extent we can attribute the action of the CSA boss. First and foremost, for my media colleague, there's a privileged knowledge. There are laws that prohibit not just civil servants, but public officials. One of the laws, even the very Civil Service Standing Order of 2012, Chapter 7, Section 9.2, state that all employees within the civil service are strongly prohibited from engaging into political rallies, attending political functions, such as party or whatever that is meant for political intention. That is the law is clear. Now, if Josiah Jokai being maybe someone could justify say, oh, the man is a political appointment, is that DG is appointed by the president, and in Liberia there is a political tendency where whenever the president goes to attend any of the kind of political rally, you get most of the cabinet, most of the ministers, everybody going on a same program. Why? They want to buy sympathy. But this is the sad truth about the entire thing. If Josiah Jokai does not in any way intending to stick to the law that governs the CSA, then of course it's also on obligation to conform to the Code of Conduct of 2014. The Code of Conduct of 2014, Chapter 1.1 states that all public officials appointed by the president serving in public no space, they are strongly prohibited from engaging into public, the political rallies. That was the same law they used against Emma Glasgow then. So if these three laws are still existing in our book, the laws are there. So if these laws apply to these people during the former regime, why now the laws cannot take effect? So just to conclude my conclusion on this is that Josiah Jokai, to be told, you cannot be the head of CSA while you have been dismissing people for attending political stuff and things. And the core function of CSA, the core values, CSA was established on three core principles. One, like full independence, professional impartiality, and what we call political neutrality. The laws are there. That is the core function, the core values of CSA. So if that is the core values of CSA, then where is the CSA boss coming from to engage in the political rally?
Okay, let me hold you there.
So let me say this:
Samuel,
Josiah Joker violated no laws.
the lawyer is speaking.
He violated no laws within the Republic of Liberia. First of all, let's be candid here. The law on our book say, our Constitution, Chapter 2, the Supremacy Clause, any law, treaty that contradict the Constitution is not a void. Political participation is an inalienable right for every Liberian within the Republic. And that's why Mappy Pawson challenged that particular code of conduct at the Supreme Court, and she won. And the Supreme Court said, no, you have no right. First of all, look, laws are made not to prevent people's rights. Laws are made to put things straight. Now, the Code of Conduct law came into being basically to prevent people from using state resources or state assets at their disposal for campaign purpose. So it says that if a minister or deputy minister who sit at a certain level and have access to state resources want to contest, that particular minister or deputy minister should step down 2 years to elections. That's what the Code of Conduct says. The reason for that is that they don't want you to use your office and to use the state resources at your disposal against other people who may not have that same access. It doesn't say that minister cannot participate into politics. No, there's no way. That is why when the ombudsman took action against people who, quote unquote, were in or still in party position, and Amos Twe and others, the guys went to court and said, bring the proof. So, let's start this. And secondly, this event happened on a Sunday. It did not happen on a working day. If Josiah Joker had left his office on a working day and went to a rally, that could be
Do you know that he uses an official vehicle?
Chief.
No, I know the question I just put to you.
It is part of government asset.
Chief, he uses an official vehicle, right?
I'm coming.
And you know that he uses an official vehicle?
Of course.
And it's part of the government's asset?
Of course.
Okay. Let me hold you.
So, just as public knowledge, let me read verbatim. I know you talk about
go ahead.
Justify with the Constitution.
Yeah, go ahead.
The laws are clear. If you read
those are statutes, Chief. Those are statutes. The Constitution is supreme.
Man, let me read now.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you read section 5.1 of the Code of Conduct, states in a code, all officials appointed by the President of the Republic of Liberia shall not, and I say should or may,
go ahead, read
shall
it.
not engage in political activities such as canvass, contest, or rally. 2B, use official government facilities, equipment, or resources in support of a particular political activities.
Okay.
So just to the question that
You
someone
don't
asked.
you don't read laws in that way. You don't read laws.
Comrade, let me ask you. I'll come in 1 minute.
Read it to the conclusion.
Let me ask you.
Read it to the conclusion.
Let me ask you.
What are the law? That's the law.
If the man used his
Official vehicle.
how do you call that? Isn't that a violation of the Code of Conduct?
No, it is not.
What is it?
It is not.
What is it?
So let's come back again.
You talk about public assets.
And I let's be very candid. There's a public access assigned to him to carry on his official duty to go to work. There's no law in the Republic that says that if he's not working, that access should be parked.
Is it not implied?
No, it's not implied. Anywhere in the world.
So
then it means, no, listen to me, please. Wait, no. Listen to me.
Why are you saying this?
Listen to me. No.
What are you trying to circumvent the law here?
No.
You are a lawyer.
He's a lawyer.
Let the lawyer trying to circumvent the law.
Chief. No. Chief. Nobody circumventing it. Let me explain.
You explain this.
Then when the president, then when we are about to go to elections, the president should pack the entire motorcade.
Why is the president when they try on Sunday? He should pack the
it means the president should pack the entire motorcade and don't use it to go and campaign. Laws are not made because of the way you want to interpret it. No. He has a position as the director of CSA based on that he has privileges that he enjoys.
In addition to that, let's forget about the the issue of the code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
But this Cody has said it. Your Cody said it that by right, given the fact that he's the human resource personnel,
That's his
head-
opinion. That's what the
opinion?
law says.
Can you
Yes.
imagine?
He said by right. He said by right.
You try.
He said by right.
You see reality.
No.
You see reality.
He said by right.
You see
He
reality.
said by right.
No,
Slobo, the position
let's go
comes-
for.
the
Let me
position
go to.
comes
Let me
with
go
privileges.
to Moses. Moses, let's hear from you.
Yeah, guys, let's do some reasoning here.
Yeah.
And I will take you back to the article that I wrote. I said if the administration is to succeed in the fight against dishonesty, then the administration itself should be above reproach. You came to the leadership of the country. You came to the leadership of the country. You dismissed people from the former CDC because you said they were wearing regalia of the CDC. I have a colleague who serves at one of the embassies, minister council. That gentleman almost lost his job because he was seen wearing a CDC regalia. A senior person in the government was able to help that man to save his job. So if you said then it was wrong, until the code of conduct is overturned, constitutionally it is overturned, it remains a law of the country. Josiah Joker is what? A political appointee. And the code of conduct clearly states that they should refrain. Someone will say, oh, well, you know, NIMBO is not a political party. Yes, I agree. But NIMBO is indeed a quasi-political group. There is a group of people that have come together to champion the cause politically of President Joseph Yuma Boakai re-election in 2029. If Joker, you dismiss people because you said they were aligning with political parties, are you not contradicting yourself? I think Joker is in the wrong. There is another embarrassment for the president. President Boakai has to take the action, because if he doesn't, people will say the president is making selected justice. If it was good for Moses Sandy yesterday, it should also be good for Director General Joker. That's how I would like to stop there.
Okay, Dave, you wanted to come in quickly. I want to open the lines, please.
Yeah.
Briefly.
The only thing I'd like to say.
But let me just announce the number before I open it line.
Yeah.
0776-540-987. Again, just for a few minutes, 0776-540-987. That's the number to call, and you are live.
You know, something that Desmond said, I'd like to dismiss. I've always heard this from people, and Desmond just repeated that.
Well, let me hold you there.
Yeah.
Let me hold you there and take this first caller. Good evening.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Lieutenant Sayan calling from District 17.
Okay, Mr. Sayan, let's hear from you.
Yeah, sir. Why you keep focusing on the Joker man? The Joker man, the NEMO is not a political party. But if the CDC man keep focusing on Joker, because he attended a NEMO program, and that is not a political party. When Garrison Yu was the head of the Good Governance Commission, he was appointed by George Manavia as a county party, like a campaign manager in Nima County. When you are the Good Governance Commission, they didn't have problem with it. That today they won't get problem with it. So not violent any law, man.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's take another call on the line. 0776-540-987. That's the number to call, and you are live. Let me take this caller quickly. Good evening.
Thank you. I want to more this evening.
Okay.
And let me extend my greetings to your guest. Well, I'm stepping on this 11. So I have the opportunity to
you have to change your location, please.
Okay, am I clear?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have read the code of conduct for some reasons that's not to myself. And in that code of conduct, there's no clause within a code of conduct that prohibits people from attending a political rally on Sunday and Saturday. I mean, there's no clause. In 5.1, the 5.2 that your one of the guests will reference of, it did not mention anything on such. And the CSA board attended the program on Sunday. Sunday is not a working day in this country. Saturday is not a working day in the country. So for people to go on his resignation or for the president to his AC, that is unacceptable to us that follow the working of this government.
Okay.
So I know fully well that there's a local have performed have carried on some changes with the CSA. So those people who are calling on a resignation are the detractors who don't want to see any political for the government. And I believe the president would not listen to that so-called resignation of Mr. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 0776 540 987. Again, 0776 540 987. That's the number to call. And you are live right here on the nighttime heat. Yeah, Tower?
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
You have to wait
another
again.
caller.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Let's hear you quickly. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm going to take the thank to you and the thank to your fellow panelists on the panel tonight. So, this is going William Romy, and I joined this conversation specifically as member of the Party Intellectual Bureau. So, look, let's be clear. We have to understand the differences between the civil servant and that of the presidential appointee. The reason why civil servants send the rule says you cannot be a civil servant at the same time wearing party paraphernalia. It is because civil servants, you are there for 25 years or until you reach 65. Meaning, government go today, government can, you will still be working. The reason they want that integrity or that equality to exist, for example, you were brought in government by the United Party. Now you start wearing United Party t-shirt all over. CDC wins tomorrow and come to power. Do you think a CDC government or CDC administrator or administration going to force you to leak a certain government secret or information to you? No. Every time government wants to function when you know you are in a state or around there, they fix here and they want to do different things, and that alone can honor my government progress of working. That is the reason why they say when you are a civil servant, you are neutral, you should not wear any party thing. So for presidential appointees today, if Waka is not president, Joka will not be director. Let's be clear with that. So when it comes to the code of conduct, that code of conduct was challenged in court last year by Amos Tuwe, managing director LPRC, or later, or Ansu Dore.
Okay. All right. You made your point. You made your point now. Okay. Let's take another caller quickly. Good evening.
Saba, good evening.
Yes, sir.
So, Saba, let me say good evening to your panelists. My name is Theophilus T. Tobe II, and I'm Imon Review. So let me just continue from where your caller, the scholar who just left the line, where he ended. What he said, your caste position is not a civil servant position. That is true. You know that. The next thing is your caste is not in a tenure position. So you cannot compare your caste position to that of the former fishery boss, who is Emma Glasgow. You cannot compare the two of them. Emma Glasgow was in a position that was a tenure position. Okay, it's different from your caste position. Today, like the caller said, if President Bouaka is if President Bouaka is no more president of Liberia, or for a bit, where he will be, and he get another 10 to go for. But let's take it like that, right? That he's not president today. Joka will not be at the civil servant. There is no comparison between the two. So I don't know why people are running around and making this noise. Joka did not break any law. No law did Joka break. Joka did not break any law. Joka sympathizes with people who support the administration that he's providing leadership for. So Joka did not break any law. So
Okay.
I don't know why You know, we must be seeing it. But let me conclude like this.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah. What I think is happening, people don't want to see your car at the civil service, because the reform, the reformation strategy that the Big Brother is executing at that place is a trouble for them, and that's the reason why they don't want him there. So they think that President Baga is going to take action against him because we're party t-shirt, but that is not the case.
Okay, many thanks. 0776 540 987. 3 more calls and to wrap it up. Like we said, it's minutes. Dave, you are saying something.
I hope a call doesn't come in again.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Open your microphone.
Okay. There's another call, right?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. What I was saying.
Another call. Please.
Okay, no problem.
Hello.
Josh, the Unity Party position on this platform. Good evening.
No. Sorry. Before you proceed, we are not Unity Party people here. We are panelists.
Yes,
we are just realistic panelists.
No, I'm not getting you. I'm not getting the question.
The man said they are not Unity
Parties in people.
They are panelists here.
We are panelists here who see white and call it white, black and call it black.
So, Unity Party. So I want to give it out to you guys. So, this is a good when I'm a member of Unity Party Intellectual Bureau.
So you're looking for all your parties in?
People that support you, even not be a party, some of us support you, but not a member of us.
Okay. All right, go ahead quickly.
Our brother did not get no argument. No argument at all. They not get nothing to say. If you talk about Josiah Joker, and my colleague always say, and they call that get level, and they say, the man if President Boga move people out today, Joker will not be around. But they tell you position. I say you're turning be expired somewhere here before you move. So how will you compare that to people? Common sense can't do that. If anybody you compare that, they will caution your school. They will talk of school you want, the school you want to, because the other person is appointed. When they do what they appoint you, the president the president appoint you. Anytime that president move for them, you still be the.
Okay, all right. You made your point. Let's take the call on the line, because it's still saying almost the same thing. Let's hear from you quickly.
Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Mr. George, and good to the family, to your panelists in studio. My name is Melvin Ulajawi in a call for electoral district 16, besides in Nipita. Let me say a very big thank you to you people for the level of knowledge you bring to the radio at night. If people are added enough of flavor to the radio at night. But the issue, I like the way you place it, people place it and relate to the lady at the future at the JFK. You know, when you're in position of leadership, you should know your terms of reference. You're not a spokesperson for the JFK Medical Center or even where you work privately. So you shouldn't be posting information that have serious implication on national health and national security. Precisely. Secondly, again, I like how you people place it when it comes to issue of Josiah Joker. There's a different issue of civil servant and a government appointed official. And civil servant, somebody who works for Colombo Sound 25, a contract with government who can be rotated at any time. But the appointed official is somebody who just works for the president at the will and pleasure of the president. That person is completely a political person. He's not a bureaucrat. The bureaucrat who work for government, he's not a bureaucrat. So it is politics who are care in there, and he should do all what possible to maintain the government status.
Okay. Thank you. Let me take the last call quickly. Hello? Yes, sir. Good evening. Let's hear from you.
Thank you very much for picking my call. Just see what people will have there. Combo Chairman, Secretary General Conseil la Bureau of Justice.
Okay.
For us, on the backdrop of the Conseil la Bureau of Justice, we believe that injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere.
Correct.
If yesterday, Josiah Jokai would take people off their job just because they exercise something they believe in as freedom of speech. But then he quoted, ethical and, morality values. He said there is a code that protects rejected, or civil service. And when you're in the civil service, you got to get certain, behavioral patterns.
You see, that's what I'm telling you.
Behavioral pattern when I allow civil service. How come some of these behavioral patterns you put in the past, which has to do with the code of conduct that civil service should not be seen around party functions, they shouldn't be seen to a political rally or any other or program that has to do with politician or political activity. Political charge ground where ground that civil servants should not be going. So how can you appreciate equity and you're not coming with clean hands?
Okay.
You are saying civil servants should not go there, but you are the director general of the civil service. You go
Okay.
there, you want or part of regalia. Is that not on hypocrisy in a high place? This is what we've been seeing in the government. This government have been leading on hypocrisy. They are appointment to governance, and government have been through hypocrisy. They have been through sensationalization.
Okay. All right. You made your point already. You made your point. Okay. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's try to do our party comment quickly. Dave, let me begin with you. Without taking additional calls, please.
Okay, so
I'd
like to use my parting comment to correct something.
Do that.
Yeah, Mr. Famulet and how they call himself. I'd like to correct this. I've often heard this, that the fact that officials of government show up or wherever program the president attends, that means that they've gone there to buy sympathy from the president. That's absolutely wrong. Those people, all members of all officials of government appointed by the president, they serve at the will and pleasure of the president. So when the president attends a program, and they show up because they serve at the will and pleasure of the president. So there's nothing wrong with they showing up when the president is attending a program at the Centennial Pavilion or at the Executive Pavilion or wherever the president goes to attend a program and cabinet members show up. It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with that. They serve at the will and pleasure of the president, so there's nothing wrong with them showing up. And Desmond said that. I've often heard that from other people. That's wrong. That's misinformation, and it's out of ignorance. They don't know who serve at the will and pleasure of the president. Those appointed by the president, they serve at the will and pleasure of the president. So there's nothing wrong with them showing up. It's not about buying sympathy or seeking favor from the president. I hope you got that education, Desmond.
So, Sabo, I will just close with this. The way Desmond read the law, that's not how laws are read. And maybe he needs some level of understanding. And I will just try to, help him a little bit. Let me even leave from these statutes, the way even the constitutions is read, you have to read succeeding chapter sometimes to know exactly what the article intend to portray. Mm-hmm. You don't just go to a point and just read it and say, oh, that's what the law said. The code of conduct that you talked about, 5.1. 5.1 gave categories, and then 5.2 explicitly explain if a cabinet official intends to do as well as what it's supposed to do. All the way it has A, B, C, and D. And that's where it talks about, it says that if a cabinet official wants to get involved with politics, they have to resign 2 years. Now, the issue about Emma Glasgow is also stated within the code of conduct. It's in 5.2b. They say any other official appointed by the president who holds a tenure position and desire to contest for public or blah, 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 should resign 3 years. It's in the law. You don't just come and just say, oh, because he say minister cannot go there, so it means that because minister went there, he's
That's
wrong.
your part to comment. Yeah, George.
So we have to start
Thank
this.
you. As I said on this article, Mr. Joker issue, I said, look, I'm aware, I know Mr. Joker supports President Bouaka anywhere, anytime. I feel that it is his right, but as head of the civil service agency, I didn't think that he's supposed to wear the Nimbo t-shirt to go to the program. He would have gone to the program. That's my view, right? Whether he's legally protected or not, but I feel that in order to be seen as a leader who heading an institution that's supposed to enforce law, such things should not have worn it. I thought he should have just gone there and then attend the program and leave.
Okay,
that's how I feel.
So I mean, but the laws are clear. It's just disheartening for people, family to, see the law from a very one perspective. Look, the code of conduct is clear as to those who are in public space how to govern themselves. Okay, if you read this identical chapter 1.2 of the 2014 Code of Conduct, state simple clear that look, you cannot be in public office. I think you talk about is about when you want to if you want to get elected, it's when you resign. If you want to get elected, it's to stop distracting.
You're making
a massive comment.
Go ahead.
So chapter 5.1 of the Code of Conduct states very clear that you cannot be in public space and engage into political rally. So let's agree with the activities of Nemo. How can you describe it? Is that not a political rally? Of course it is.
Okay.
So read the chapter 7, 0.29 of the Civil Service Standing Order of 2012 that I quoted. That also applied to employees, but mind you, it is also applied to Joker morally, because if you are the head of the institution, if you will be dismissing civil service, employees for attending political parties, mind you, it may not be applied by the civil service standing order, but it also imply on you as the head of that institution morally to stick to the ethics of the institution.
Okay, you made the point. Let's go to Moses quickly. Moses, your parting comment.
Yeah, look, quickly, I just want to say that on this one, I think George is 100% right. It is often stated that leaders lead by example. You can be telling people, say, hey, you can't park your car here, and you come and park your vehicle there, you say, oh, I'm the boss. That's hypocrisy. And that is what Joker did. He's holding civil servants accountable, but he doesn't want to hold himself accountable. Everyone on the show here knows that the guy was in violation. And quickly, let me say this. My brother Edwin was saying that Ammon, she wore the regalia as a tenure government official. She should not have done that. She needed to resign. But when she wore the regalia, and Edwin, I'm not quoting you directly, I'm just paraphrasing. When she wore the CDC outfit, she went to show political support to the CDC. On that basis, when the Barker administration came, they removed her. So if you remove Emma, you should also remove her.
Okay.
It was a great show, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let me just recognize some of our viewers quickly. Vinicius Junior Bar from Nukuta, been watching. Ophelia S. George, been watching from home. Melvin and Roosevelt Jolo, been watching. He didn't say from where. Okay, his residence in Pinsville. Mantunes son been following as well. Emmanuel Bro been watching from the USA. City Gigs been following. Abu Senel Dagos Mesca been following. From Grand Cape Makani, Isaac guys on Red been following. Brazilian K been following. Terry Amos Contra been following. And the rest of you, we can call all of the names. Until then, Sabo George is my name. Have a pleasant time.